Peace. This is Jamal Robinson with 720astrology.com. Today's date is March 19th, 2024. At the time of recording this, it's 11:16 a.m. Central Standard Time. This is my third attempt at recording this video, and this one's not going to be an attempt. This one is going all the way. The first two times I had technical difficulties, get to the point of editing and find out that there's some issue and unable to complete the editing process. But everything happens for a reason. So here we are on the first official day of spring, the vernal equinox. I think it's only right that I do it today. Maybe that's what the energy wanted to emerge on the vernal equinox. So I'm cool with that. So a happy astrological new year to you all, and congratulations on making it to the vernal equinox, the official start of spring, and congratulations on the opportunity to spring forth from the metaphorical grave. So today I want to talk about the synodic cycle of Mercury and Neptune. Synodic just means a conjunction. Whenever two heavenly bodies are conjunct, they start a cycle with each other. Now, that cycle can vary in lengths. It can be hundreds of years, or it can be as little as a year. Because Mercury is a fast moving body, it will start a new synodic cycle with Neptune every year. The past cycle ran from March 18th, 2023 to March 9th, 2024. And I want to look at some key headlines that emerged at key points during this cycle. And those key points are: one, the conjunction, which is the start of the synodic cycle; the first quarter square, which demands some type of action; the opposition, which has the theme of bringing things to light; the last quarter square, which is where there's a push to understand something; and then the distillation that leads to the completion of the cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. So the cycle began again on March 18th. On March 19th, we have a report from Jerusalem Post of luminous objects flying over California, seen for less than 45 seconds. On June 25th, where we have the first quarter square, Harvard professor Avi Loeb says, quote, extraterrestrials will make contact with AI before humans, due to aliens potentially feeling a kinship with human technology. Same day, we have David Grush appears before Congress. He's the former UAP task force member. UAP is the acronym that is now replacing UFO. UFO, unidentified flying object. UAP is unidentified aerial phenomena. He's a former task force member. He says, quote, analysis has determined that the objects retrieved are of exotic origin, non-human intelligence, whether extraterrestrial or unknown origin, based on the morphologies and material science testing and the possession of unique atomic arrangements and biological signatures. He's referring to fragments, I guess, that they've supposedly recovered from crashed UFOs or UAPs. And I got this from Fox News. On October 2nd, we have the opposition, which is like a full moon, where something is coming to light. There's some type of culmination. Well, this headline comes from CBS News. Mysteries in the sky. Hundreds in Maryland report UFO sightings as Congress, NASA investigate push for transparency. So here we have at the full moon when the moon is illuminated. Well, at the opposition between Mercury and Neptune, which is likened to a full moon when the moon is illuminated, we have sightings. So we have a reemergence of what took place at the conjunction. All right. We get to the last quarter square, November 27th. And Garrett M. Groff, author of UFO, The Inside Story of the CIA. I'm sorry, The Inside Story of the US Government. I don't have the rest of the title, but that's the gist of it. He appears on NPR, and the headline they gave the interview was How the Roswell UFO Spurred Our Modern Age of Conspiracy Theories. He's on here basically promoting his book, but the headline they give paints the picture of the conversation because this is why you choose headlines. And I have a degree in journalism, so I know what I'm talking about. You pick these headlines to grab the audience attention and to direct the thought process by painting the picture of the context of the conversation. That's the importance of a headline. How the Roswell UFO spurred our modern age of conspiracy theories. When you use those two words, conspiracy theories, that automatically paints a picture of something not being taken seriously. That term has been propagandized to where it now it invalidates anything that is said when we put conspiracy theory on it, because we associate that with tinfoil hat people who are sitting around in some bunker or bombshell talking about the sky is going to fall. You don't put that in the headline unless you want to paint a certain picture. And this is at the last quarter square, which Dane Rudyard says is the crisis of understanding. So we want to, as part of media, which media comes from the word magic, and magic is ruled by Neptune, we want to shape the narrative. And one way is we start by initially just the headline we put out. And this is the last quarter square when it's crisis of understanding. So we're kind of helping to shift the mindset, because at the beginning of this cycle, it's like, oh man, they're starting to come out, just they're telling it like finally they're going to tell us what we already knew, and it's feeding the ego, that ego part of us that wants to feel like I'm right. I knew I was right all along. And so the game shifts by the time of the last quarter square. Very interesting. So when we get to this whole cycle is distilling. And by the time we get to the conjunction in 2024, now we arrive at some type of conclusion. And you would think the way that the cycle started out, this would be the ultimate crescendo. But no, on the 9th, reports come out. Pentagon review finds no evidence of alien cover-up. Wonk, wonk, wonk. So after all that buildup, this is what the conclusion is. So I want to go and look at this and offer some perspective about this previous cycle. Mercury, we know, deals a lot with communication and how we think and how we commute our ideas, how we share them. Neptune is associated with Poseidon, Lord of the sea. So Neptune can overwhelm. Neptune can create this vastness, a sea of ideas. It is a solvent. It's imagination. It's fusion. It can be illusion and delusion. It merges things. When it gets together with Mercury, on a positive side, it can be very creative and imaginative. On the negative side, it can be lies and deceit. After all, Mercury has a trickster side to it. So when you marry the trickster aspect of Mercury with the illusionary aspect of Neptune, this can be energies of what you perceive it to be may very well have nothing to do with what it really is. And is that the case with this previous cycle? Does this previous Mercury-Neptune synodic cycle provide an opportunity for us to peer deeper? When we are discussing topics like UFOs and UAPs, it naturally also invites those terms alien and extraterrestrial. But what is an alien? What is an extraterrestrial at the core, denotatively, etymologically? Let's explore that. Alien, its Indo-European root family is AL and Roman numeral 2. So that means the AL family is broken up into subgroups. And it basically means other. Now, extraterrestrial, and you know we use those pretty interchangeably. Starting with extra, extra means outside. Terrestrial, with the key focus on means dry earth. Jamal, the word is extraterrestrial. It has an R in it. You know this. Why is it after 35 or more years of pronouncing this word, you want to change it? Don't let this happen again. You hear me? Extraterrestrial. Hey, while I got your attention, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate you. Given that we use alien and extraterrestrial interchangeably, we can say that these terms are referring to something that is other than or outside of dry earth. Now, when we say earth, are we talking about just the earth we inhabit? Or is that word, that terminology, does it have layered meaning? Let's see. Okay, we're going to go and shift over now to the biblical character Adam, and we're going to give his name, its Hebrew treatment, Aleph, Dalet, Mem, Adim, which means man. It also means ruddy. Now, the thing we want to be clear about is that man is not talking about a gender. Man is a species, humanity. Ruddy is not talking about a color as in a skin color. Ruddy, arguably, as in red, is talking about the blood. How do we know that this is possibly correct? Because the word for blood in Hebrew is dim, and dim consists of a dalet and a mem. So if we take away the aleph, we have just blood. To me, this is an equation for organic humanity. Organic humanity, which consists of divine force thrusting forward, which is Aleph. That's what Aleph means. It's power. It's divine force moving forth, unveiling itself. And as it reveals and unveils its hidden nature, it makes contact with blood. Blood is the interface between humanity and divinity. So the divine force, Aleph, makes contact with the blood and gives us Adam. Now, when we take this same word Adam and we add ha on the end, we end up with Adama, which would be an Aleph, Dalet, Mem, Hey, Adama. And that word, by adding the hey on the end, that word now gives us the meaning of, or it becomes earth. So now what we have is complete equation. We have divine force interfacing with the blood to create man. And then with the hay on the end, Adama, it becomes earth, which means that man can be seen or we can behold the creation, because the hay or the ha in one sense means to behold. When we see in it says when we have words like lo, lo is like saying see there, look, see, behold. So now I have This creation has been formed. Now see what has been created. Ha. And the realization of this creation terminates in the word earth. So this is the divine equation. God force interfacing with blood, interfacing through blood with humanity. That's the merger. The blood is the meeting ground between divine force and humanity. If we keep going, this will be another discussion, but then Eve is the life that comes out of it. That this vessel now realizes the ability to create. Key word though, organically. This is an organic compound that we're looking at here. What am I getting at though? On September 21st, 1987, at 11:02 a.m., then President Ronald Reagan gave a speech in New York, New York. I guess this was before the General Assembly. And this speech is well known because he has, I guess, towards the end, he talks about what if there was an alien threat that would threaten our way of life and that would help us overcome our petty differences. Maybe that would be what is necessary to bring us together. That's a multifaceted statement. One, it could suggest something that was recognized in the blood that needed to be controlled. Could also be speaking of a merger with a certain type of technology that would bring out or bring about a uniformity where we would remove the division because everything would be the same. When he delivered that speech, Neptune and Uranus were nearing the end of their synodic cycle. It was a distillation phase of their cycle, which began in 1821. The Uranus-Neptune cycle runs for about 172 years. So at the time of this speech, they're about, I think about 6 degrees apart. The significance is they were already in range of conjunction. So let's look at some themes or some words, some keywords associated with Neptune and Uranus. Futuristic Uranus, imagination, Neptune. So imagining a future. Fusion, Neptune, with technology, Uranus. Science, fiction, science, Uranus. Fiction, Neptune. Merger with artificial intelligence. Merger, Neptune, artificial intelligence, Uranus. Both planets can be related, are related to alien, the concept of alien. Remember, we said alien is beyond, other than, extra, outside of. So the alien from the Uranian lens is outside the boundaries or box of limitation. And what's the limitation? It's Earth. The alien through the Neptunian lens is other realm consciousness. Now, we typically call that spirituality, but spirituality does not necessarily mean something good. Spirit as breath, all breath is not conducive to the reality that you hold to be true. Maybe some breath is diabolical, malefic, but both have a relationship with the concept of alien. What if this same president, who is known for starting the Star Wars program during his presidency, where we, through conditioning, when we hear that term, and through the Hollywood production that has happened around Star Wars, see, and maybe everything ties in to where we're conditioned to look out there to the stars when we know physiologically that our blood is a star system. It has stars in it. That's what the blood is composed of stars. And it needs stars to keep it functioning. Crystals, minerals, other nutrients, they're stars. What if the alien threat had nothing to do with what our minds were conditioned to be, Star Wars? And what if the emphasis outside was a blind when the real Star Wars were directed inwardly? Was the blood designed to be the battlefield? And were we simply at that time victims of a misdirection? I remember those times. I was 10 years old and I remember all those speeches and the push for Star Wars. And we're looking to the future. Oh man, we're probably going to be, like the Jetsons or man, we're going to be flying around and funny looking characters. And maybe it was all designed as a misdirection to distract us from focusing on the hidden world. When Ronald Reagan gives this speech at 11:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Scorpio is rising and Pluto, the modern ruler of Scorpio, is in his domicile. And so Pluto is lord of the underworld. And Scorpio can deal with secret matters, hidden things, the occult world. So maybe we've been conditioned to look for these big waterhead bug-eyed creatures. And maybe they do exist. I'm not totally disregarding, but what if the real threat is subtle? What if the potential invasion is subtle, as in it cannot even be detected by the five human senses? And what if that was always the agenda and through the miseducation of the masses, it went on completely undetected? Why am I bringing this up? Because this last Mercury-Neptune synodic cycle really had the collective looking up in the sky and feeding the ego to where people feel like, yeah, we're finally, yeah, they can't hide it anymore. Full disclosure. We put so much force on them, so much pressure on them through social media. They can't lie anymore. They got to tell us the truth. A guy told me years ago, if a dog bites you, just feed it. Don't snatch away. Feed it. Because when you snatch away, that's when the dog can really rip your flesh. But if that dog bites you and you just feed it, then you can possibly smother it, choke it, or wear it out. Jaw muscles get tired. So maybe during this previous Mercury-Neptune synodic cycle, the dog was fed. All right, you people want controversy. You want to feel like you're discovering something. Here you go. All right, yeah. Yeah, they've always been there. Yeah, here we go. Full disclosure. And then we get on social media and beat our chest like, yeah, Aquarius. This is the age of Aquarius. All the secrets are coming out. When what we should be doing possibly is focusing inwardly, getting our own metaphorical, metaphysical house in order, policing our blood, whether it is literally physically our blood or our bloodlines. What trauma do we need to clean up in our bloodline? What work do I need to do physically to enhance and improve my blood? What's the quality of my consciousness? There's a difference between being awake and woke. See, woke is all these videos about chosen ones. If you're a chosen one, then you probably have 16 toes because you're from the earth seed. That's woke. It's feeding your ego. But to truly be awakened is to be a little troubled. And through that feeling of being troubled, you are pushed, you're driven. Mars rules blood. Blood functions by being driven. You're driven to act in accordance with your recognition of the reality as it really is. It pushes you. It's just like going to the gym. You recognize the reality that you have to push yourself in order to be able to respond to a world that is constantly pushing you. That's why we really work out, exercise, and the other things, and drink water. And because we want to make sure we are driving that blood and conditioning that blood to be as strong as it can be, with the recognition that there's trouble all around looking to invade the blood, which is the interface between divinity and humanity, the blood. So this is just something to think about and ponder on. As always, I'm available for private readings through my website, 720astrology.com. Know the stars to know yourself. Peace.